Hey there, John Morris here, johnmorrisonline.com. Welcome back to another episode. This one I wanted to talk about object-oriented programming in PHP and specifically building professional applications. And I think some things that maybe get skipped over or not talked about as much when it comes to understanding object-oriented programming, especially if you're just looking to start doing it, you're new to it. Some of the things that when you look at other tutorials and so forth, maybe can get glossed over a little bit. And so the first idea here is that object-oriented programming is concepts, not code. And I think, again, this is one of the things that people can kind of skip over or get a little bit lost in, is that when they start talking about object-oriented programming, especially in particular in PHP, they start thinking about PHP classes and interfaces and all these code-related things, and maybe skip over this idea of what object-oriented programming actually is. And what it is really is a paradigm or a way of going about building your applications. And it's one among many. This is one thing that I want to point out right off the bat, is that when object-oriented programming first kind of got introduced to the web development community, a lot of people sort of went all in and were like, you're a complete scrub or noob if you're not doing object-oriented programming. And that sort of can sour people and so forth. And I don't really go down that particular route, but I do think it is a valuable tool, but it is one among many. So procedural programming, I believe still has its place in sort of the coding world. And then you have object-oriented programming, and then you have functional programming, which is something even beyond that. And the people who do that sort of from time to time will scoff at object-oriented programming. And so you can kind of have all these different battles, and everybody can say that their thing is the end-all, be-all. But at the end of the day, object-oriented programming is one way of doing things, and it's really conceptually driven. It is, as its name implies, object-oriented. It's not just about writing PHP classes. Those are just tools to help you do this kind of coding. All right, so again, to get to the core of this, then when you talk about object-oriented programming, it's really about objects, not actions. And Margaret Rouse has a really good sort of definition that she uses. She says object-oriented programming is a programming language model, or some people use the word paradigm instead of model, but model organized around objects rather than actions, and data rather than objects, or data rather than logic. And so you have objects then that are the focus of this. And if you think about sort of the way that you as a human look at the world, this actually fits really well with how we sort of perceive things. And that's one of the reasons why object-oriented programming is something that people emphasize and is a good way of coding, because it's how you already look at the world. So when you look at the world, you don't necessarily look at it in logic or in process or procedure. You look more at it in terms of objects, or at least objects are the central part. So the first thing you'll notice about the world, let's just say a soccer ball. You'll notice the soccer ball itself, and then you'll notice that it can be kicked or it can be inflated, like there's actions that can be performed on it, or a helicopter. Right? You'll notice the helicopter, and then there are things, there are internal processes in the helicopter, the engine, and all the different components and so forth. And then one of the things it can do is fly, and it can land, and all that. So the actions and the processes and so forth are sort of secondary to the objects themselves. And that's, to me, on a conceptual level, really what object-oriented programming is about, is looking at your application and having the objects come first, and then the actions and the processes and the procedures and so forth are secondary to all of that. And you can have objects, then can have properties, they can perform actions, etc. So this is where you then get the examples that you see that sometimes can be a little bit confusing, but people are trying to, I think, communicate this idea of this the primacy of objects. And so you'll have this example of person, right? John has blue eye color. Eye color is a property. Blue is the specific value for that property. And then they can run, walk, and speak. Those are sort of processes or actions or procedures that particular object can take. Okay, so that, again, that's the idea. I know some of that can get a little bit confusing, but again, it's the primacy of objects. We're focused on the objects first, and then everything else sort of comes after that. So with object-oriented programming, your first step then is to not sit down and start writing code. It's not to write a class. It's actually to take a step back, and it's to think about your application in a larger sense and identify the objects. So you identify all the objects in your application, how they relate to each other. This is often called data modeling. So if you were building a blog, you might look at that application and say, okay, I'm going to have a user, I'm going to have a post, I'm going to have a category, and I'm going to have a tag. Each one of these things is an object, right? It's a thing within your application. And then off of that, then you could start to see all of the different things, all of the different actions or procedures that can take place. So, you could add a user. A user can create a post. A user can delete a category. A user can edit a tag. And so you have all of these interactions between your user creating a post, deleting a category, editing a tag, etc., and all the other components. And so you start to see how they're related. And the nice thing about this, in my own personal experience, is that when you do this and you actually sit down and think about this first, and the objects you're going to have and how they're going to be related to each other, what one can do to another, and etc., and the different properties that they're going to have and so forth, what it actually does is it really sort of starts to define your database structure for you. You start to see that, hey, my database kind of has to be designed this specific way in order to support what I want to do. And so it makes that part of things a little bit easier. And then once you have that in place, your code actually kind of starts to write itself too, because now you're looking at your application and saying, well, I want it to do this, and I have this database structure. I'm sort of just, the code is just kind of connecting the two, and I kind of have a guideline or a framework of how I'm going to build this application and the code that I need to write. Now, you still got to sit down and sort of make it all work, and there's nuance to it, of course, but the larger sort of idea of what code do I need to write, what all needs to be there, when you model out your application and then you define your database off of that, and you do that stuff first before you really start writing any, in this particular case, PHP code, when you get to the point of writing PHP code, it's a lot simpler. You know exactly what you need to write, and you just kind of crank it out. And so again, that's the advantage of object-oriented programming. Keeping in mind, it's not an end-all be-all, right? There's still going to be things that you have to deal with and so forth, and there's drawbacks, just like anything. So ultimately, the point of all of this is getting to implementation. And one of the things that I think people, again, miss when thinking about object-oriented programming is that the whole idea of it is building applications, right? You don't just do object-oriented programming just to do object-oriented programming, in my opinion. You do it to build sort of professional level applications and giving you an application that you can think about how it's going to scale and how it's going to grow, and have a framework in place to be able to do that. That's really the point of it, in my opinion. And so when you start talking about things like visibility and inheritance and namespaces, constructors, static, auto-load, interfaces, even MVC, all of these sort of buzzwords that surround object-oriented programming, the thing to remember is those are really just tools to help you implement. That at the end of the day, object-oriented programming is about application building, and that's what matters, and that's the focus. And it's again, the primacy of the object leads to something that can be really, or it can be easier to organize than maybe in a procedural sense. So again, I just want to sort of hammer that point home. It's about application building. Now, as an aside here, this is also why my Build Professional PHP Applications with Object-Oriented Programming is named the way it is and what it teaches you, right? It's more than just the code. It's more than just sort of learning how to write a class or that sort of thing. It's all under the context of application building. That's why the final lesson in the course talks about building professional applications. And when we talk about MVC in the course, we talk about it sort of in the context of building applications, because that's the focus here. So anyway, if you want to learn more about that course, you can go to johnmorrisonline.com/OOP. That will give you all the details on the course, and that course is going to teach you object-oriented programming in PHP from sort of scratch all the way to building professional application level. And the comment that I got that sort of made me think of talking about this came from Heather Weaver over on the course. And one of the things she said, I have cobbled together PHP knowledge from building WordPress themes / plugins. So I was looking for a course that was a level beyond the syntax of variables for loops, etc. This course was exactly what I was looking for. And I relate to that really well, because that sort of was how I learned PHP, was started learning WordPress, and then I learned, I got to learn PHP, and sort of went that same route. And I remember that point at which I was looking for something to teach me that sort of next level. Like, I got basic PHP, but now I wanted to take that next step into a more professional level, building the kind of things that clients really, really wanted and would pay top dollar for. And so that was one of the reasons why I created the course. So it was really awesome to hear that from Heather. Again, anyway, if you want to learn more about that course, johnmorrisonline.com/OOP. All right, that'll do it for this episode. If you liked the episode, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button. Also, if you want to support the show, you can do so over at johnmorrisonline.com/Patreon. You get access to all of my courses over there, including the Object-Oriented Programming course, unreleased courses. That's sort of my brain dump. So if you want to learn more about that, that's johnmorrisonline.com/Patreon. Otherwise, you can get access to all of my official releases over on Skillshare. Plus, you'll get access to 21,000 plus other courses that are available on Skillshare. And with my link, johnmorrisonline.com/Skillshare, you can get a 2-month free trial of that. You can take all the courses you want, cancel anytime before the 2 months is up, and you never pay a penny. So that's a really good way if you want to get access to all of this training and so forth to do so. Again, that's johnmorrisonline.com/Skillshare. All right, that'll do it. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.